Okay, this is the tutorial on how to use the Hammerhead panel for V2. So unlike V1, the panel is a little different now, so let's talk about how to use it. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how cameras work. And so let's look at the panel settings to figure that out. So for your panel, which you can obtain via the toolbox, and the link to the panel model will be in the server itself, of which there is a link in the description too. So let's go to the panel here. So I'm under my panel. It needs to go in your ride. So this is my workspace folder for my ride. It needs to go in the panels model. So I put it under there, and I need to edit a few settings. So the first setting I'm going to edit is zone. So I'm going to click value down here, go to my coasters folder and replicated storage, go down to zones, and the zone I want to associate this panel with is station. Okay. For my cameras, what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my camera. So this will be the position that I want it to be because I have two camera positions. So I have, this is like not even using the camera at all. This is default and this is zoomed in. So I'm going to position it like I want it for default. And I'm going to copy, if you go to camera, copy the origin's position and orientation, and then go to the default camera value and paste each value into their respective values. And then for zoomed in, I'll do the same thing again, move the camera here, copy and paste the position and orientation into this value. And that'll tell Hammerhead where to put your camera when you press this button. The way to get this button to appear is to take your seat part, which I have, it's really small here so I can't select it, but take a seat part and set that as the value of seat under the settings. And I wouldn't recommend touching any other settings. Maybe layout thickness, but so layout thickness is if I turn the panel on, the little layout here, that'll change the thickness of this line. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend touching any of these other settings. So let's talk about how to use the panel now. So first of all, I really can't press any of these buttons. Like you'll see I'm clicking on all of these, I can't press them. So what I need to do is log in. And I also can't press log in. So what I need to do first is press HMI enable. And this will turn on the touchscreen. Now I can log in. And I can press all the buttons now. So starting with my spiels, like
Your
my
ride will
dispatch
be
spiel,
starting soon.
I can
Make sure
open
to
and
keep your
close
head back
gates,
and keep
though
your
I don't
arms and
have them
legs
set up right
inside
now
the
so they won't do
vehicle while the
anything.
ride is in motion.
I can
Hold
change
on tight
the
and prepare to
ride
be
from
blown
manual to
away.
auto. It's in manual right now, and if you want your ride to be, because it's auto by default, if you want your ride to start in manual, go to your ride's replicated storage folder, then proceed to go and open the operations folder, go to the automatic mode value, and set this to false. Next, let's talk about restraints. So restraints, you can only open the restraints of the panel, you can't close them. So I'm going to open all the restraints in my train. And now that I did that, I have to go and manually close all of them. You'll also notice the dispatch lights stopped flashing. That's because whenever you have restraints or gates open, you can't dispatch a train. So you might want to skip ahead like 20 seconds because I do have to now go and click all of these. Okay. So now we have the restraints closed. And so let me show you a few more things. So I can e-stop the ride either by pressing e-stop on the main panel or on one of these two host panels right here. When e-stop is active, I can't dispatch the ride, but I can use gates, restraints, and all that. If I press e-stop reset, it gets rid of e-stop. That's the only way to disengage e-stop. I can also lock out the ride by pressing e-stop lockout. This will prevent me from resetting e-stop. And another byproduct of this is that all the power to the ride has now been cut, so I can't use gates or restraints. The way to do this is to put the ride into maintenance mode, and now I can use these buttons, but I'm not going to because I don't want to go close all the restraints again. So anyway, so I'm going to take off this tag by clicking on it, and now I can un-e-stop the ride. So like I mentioned before, these are the host panels. You can put them wherever you want in your station. You can also duplicate them or delete them as you'd like. So they're down here in this folder called host panels. So just delete these models as necessary, but do not delete the main model here that they're under. Also for the panel, you can modify it by moving stuff around, but don't change the size or name of anything in the panel, otherwise you might break it. Anyway, so now let's talk about dispatching the ride. So my maintenance mode is off, And if I click dispatch, which I am right now, nothing happens. That's because I have to enable the dispatch buttons on both these host panels, and now I should be able to dispatch the ride. So see, the train is moving now. Now my other train will roll into the station. While this train's rolling into the station, let's talk about how to set up your ride to make it able to e-stop. Unlike V1, V2 is not rendered in real time. It's running a pre-recorded animation, so your train just can't stop on a whim when you e-stop the ride. You actually have to use if statements, like those discussed in the main tutorial, to make your ride able to do that. So, under the conditions for if statements, you'll see e-stop is a condition. So, when a train enters a zone like, I don't know, the brakes, I might say, if e-stop, then park. And then I'll wait until e-stop is false again. Okay, now that I have done that, what I'm going to do next is show you how to bypass the host panels. So I have this train parked in the station. It's ready to dispatch as evidenced by the flashing dispatch buttons. But let's say I don't want to click these two host panels. I can put the ride into maintenance mode. And by doing that, I can now dispatch the ride without having to use the host panels. So that was just a quick overview of the panel. Full documentation for the panel can be found towards the bottom of the V2 documentation, which I will post a link to in the description. And you can find all the information here as to what everything does and how to use the panel. So if you guys have any questions, you can join the Discord server in the description. There's all sorts of resources in there. And hope you have a good day. Bye bye.